So what we're doing here technically is a water change. And I know my last video touched on water changes, and the reason that I'm doing this right now is because this is a small sump that I run with a fluidized K2 system. And this sump is very, very old. It's been running for a long time. And it's got to the point where it has sediment. Now, take notice that we are removing all of our K2, putting that into a bucket that is already filled up with, you guessed it, dirty aquarium water. Now, reason for that being is we don't want to shock the system with too much cleaning, because then you have bacteria blooms. So basically what you want to do is you want to clean a little bit at a time, if that makes any form of sense. This is like where the bulk of my fish waste goes, so what you want to do is every once in a while you gotta clean this out, that way you're not pumping waste up back into the system. So I already siphoned this, and I don't know if you guys can see down here the complete mucky, disgusting, probably gonna get Ebola or COVID from touching all this, you know what I mean? It's pretty gross. But this was a very, very established tank. It's been up and running for a very, very long time. So I'm trying to come up with names for the rehab tank, and this is the sump off the rehab tank. You guys will have to give me some ideas. You know, I was thinking Old Dirty Bastard for all our Wu-Tang fans out there, but you guys let me know if you got any ideas for what I should call it. I do have some fish in there, and as soon as I'm done here, I'll give you some updates on that, show everybody what's going on in that thing. But I think you guys would be able to see why I want to call this tank Old Dirty Bastard. It is filthy, but like I said before, I was letting things cycle, let them run. There's a lot of good bacteria that was built up in this sump that allowed my tank to reestablish, if you will. And it really helps out, but you don't want to clean too much at once. Touch back on the video I did the other day. This is zeolite. This is the only, you know, once you make it into a log like this, I guess it's the magic pill for ammonia, right? But this stuff here, I mean, it's full of good bacterias that are pretty nasty, but you know, us in this weird hobby of ours, we call it good bacteria. So I am I'm gonna clean this thing out real good, wash it down, get all the scum off, make it nice and pretty. That That way nobody makes fun of me. But listen, you say what you want, my system works, right? So let me do this real quick, and we'll get right back to you. All right, so at one point or another, I decided to try to make this crazy elaborate sump, and it's going to touch back onto failures. In order to fail, or in order to succeed, you have to fail, right? Well, learn from my failures on this, and if you do something like that, make sure that you remove the old bits of silicone, because all that is going to be is a breeding ground for fish poop to set up shop on. Now, I think one of the best tools somebody that has aquariums can have, and some people are going to say absolutely not, but these little razors, I don't know if you guys can see that there. Let me tell you, they sell them at Home Depot, Lowe's, any home improvement store that you have, and as you see, we're just scraping off all that buildup, all that nasty stuff, okay? And I probably go through at least 2 of these things a week. Sell them in a huge pack, they're like $8. It will change your life, seriously, guys. Helps, you know, if you get those stubborn water residue droplets everywhere, you know, that you try to get off, and you scrub, and you guys got your magnet cleaners and all that fancy stuff that you know, might help a little bit, but you get that stuff that's just stuck on there, and what that is it's minerals in the water supply. I don't care where you get your water, water has minerals in it, and with the minerals, as they start to, you know, as the water starts to evaporate, those minerals build up on the side, and it turns into like a hard crystal-y substance, but it's water soluble, because as soon as you get it wet, it turns into slime. That's why when you start cleaning these tanks, you think you're gaining headway sometimes, and you'll spend all this time cleaning up this tank, and next thing you know, you're like, okay, I got it. It's all clean, ready to rock. And you put your fish in there and get your water done, and everything's good. You walk away from it, come back in a little bit to come see it. Guess what's back? That damn scum on the side. Razor blade. Takes a little bit of elbow grease, and but your end product is way better, and it's overall just gonna get you a better result, right? So inside this sump, we're gonna change up the format here, I guess, and kind of do a little bit of redesign in here. I really want to get some lids. You know, that for me would be a game changer, because I have an air pump that runs in this thing 24/7. And what happens is the bubbles are, I got 2 air stones down in the bottom here. Once I drain this all the way down and get it cleaned up and get it to a, you know, I guess a showman finish, if you will, something that I'd be proud to show you guys, not something that would be frowned upon, right? I'll show you kind of roughly my setup. Very simple. Air stones, have that pushing up. My water feed comes down with a 45 PVC. I believe it's a 1-inch, and that kind of hits a swirl. This is a fluval. It's one of those bubbled out tanks. Used to have the on the back side here, the built-in, they call it a sump or a built-in system. Fluval makes some great tanks, but wasn't a fan of the filtration system in this thing. When I first got it, bought it brand new. I think back then spent, I don't know, probably 200 bucks or so when these first came out. You know, with everything, all the cartridges and stuff like that. And that's kind of where I got away from. That's where I got away from the traditional filters, you know. I know what I said yesterday, and I do have a hang on the back filter, absolutely, but I don't buy cartridges, right? It's in the name, guys, DIY guy. So I don't use filter cartridges because you just go through them too quick. They're too expensive, and what kind of DIYer would I be preaching to you guys if I went to the store and bought filter, right? Filter cartridges. That just don't sit right with me, right? So what I do is I buy, I believe it's called quilt or batting. What it is it's the stuffing that goes inside of a quilt, right? I do buy sponges, not like some Dollar Tree sponges, but I do buy from time to time some new media sponges, stuff like that. You kind of gotta have something like that, right? I've seen people use like the GoDaddy scrub brushes, stuff like that. Not to say that that's the wrong way, but I just haven't experimented with it. Haven't had the perfect situation to experiment with it, but same premise sticks behind it, right? So it's gonna grow, help you grow beneficial bacteria. So really, in my book, anything that's gonna have porous holes and stuff like that for water to flow through and bacteria to grow on. I'm sorry, I got a piece of silicone here that I think I overcompensated for a long time ago. But yeah, so I mean, hypothetically speaking, it's probably a great solution. I just can't speak too much on it. The idea behind it sounds great, but I just personally don't have enough experience behind it to sit here and endorse something like that. I know they're great for dishes. That guy's making a buttload of money. Wish I came up with that idea. So I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna put a picture up here on the screen. show you guys why I want to call this tank Old Dirty Bastard. And that's because she's all dirty. It's been a bastard. Look at that. As I said, we do have some fish in the tank now. I'm not going to tell you guys what I got in there. You'll have to watch and find out. This is going to be my wife's tank, and I let her pick out all the fish, and I'm gonna have to do all the maintenance on it. And but I chose that, you know. I told her, because it's in her area. She does shirts, custom shirts, cups, epoxy designs. She does all types of stuff, makes custom stickers, logos, stuff like that. So she's got kind of an area set up for all her epoxy stuff. You know, it's not right next to the tank, of course, but it's kind of the area that she does a lot of her stuff, you know. When she does the epoxy stuff, she's got to be outside doing that. You can't breathe epoxy resin. It's not good for you. But, so she's got all these machines and all this crazy stuff. And this tank sits in that area, so I want to keep it nice. I want to not only for my fish, but for her, I want her to be able to turn around and look at something that she can enjoy. What kind of enjoyment would one person get if somebody else picked all the fish, right? So I'm just the maintenance guy here in this tank. My babies are in the pond, so definitely going to be investing. Got another tank coming soon. I think we're going to do an Oscar or a bass and raise them up in a smaller tank first, and then when it gets big enough, we'll put them in with the turtles, and we'll see what becomes of it. But that's down the road. I did put some other things in with the turtles. Unfortunately, they didn't make it, right? That's a part of life. It's part of the food circle there, the food triangle. You know, circle of life. Things get eaten. Fortunately for him, I really liked it. It was a lobster, Florida crawfish actually, and had a lot of hiding spots in there, so I thought he would do really well, you know, kind of hiding out in the shadows. But like I said, those turtles, they rip everything apart. They're savages. I put more duckweed in there last night. It's all gone, and I'm talking, I probably put 4 good cups of duckweed in there. I put some frog bait in there, which is pretty like hardy. It's all gone, every bit of it. So those bastards there, they sure like to eat. So they get fed, they're happy, they're healthy. I did have I guess they call it a soft spot on one of my turtle shells, and he had it since we got him, and we actually finally got it to go away. You know, supplementing, you know, not with a band-aid fix, but doing calcium blocks, and adding extras onto the tank, you know, supplements, stuff like that. So They sell some really good products at my local pet store that's right up the road from me. It's super convenient. They don't judge you. They don't, they don't try to tell you what to do. But if you ask them questions, they'll answer you. And those are the guys to ask, because those people in there, that's all they do is animals, right? So if anybody's gonna know anything about fish keeping, most likely it'd be one of those people, right? Not to say that they know everything, but hell, they might suck. Who knows? But you'll be able to tell that just by walking in. Go look at their ferrets, go look at their bunnies, look at the birds. Are the cages full of crap? If they're full of crap, walk out. I'm not saying just a half a day's worth of crap. I'm talking dirty cages where them poor birds have just been sitting in their own crap. That's not right, and there's some people that actually do it because they love it, and there's some people that do those for the money. I get it. But at the end of the day, they're selling pets, right? So if you're selling a pet, don't you think it'd be more beneficial for you to take care of all the pets that you are housing, looking for homes for? It's like, I just got my sock wet. It's like trying to sell a car with flat tires. Makes no sense. Alright guys. Alright. We are going to go get this tank back in. Get back in place, get the sump back up and running. And get some oxygen flowing back into these fish, because I have their system completely off right now. Alright, so it's going to give you a lot better view and understanding of the system I run here. When I first put this together, way more intricate, definitely overbuilt for its recent utilizations. Way too overbuilt actually, but that's another story. We won't get into all that right now. Singular pump in here. Everything flows down from here. Have the air stones here. Now that we have our bucket of fun, for some odd reason, I like to do the maintenance on this side. And down to a 90, and then down to a 45, which is really nice because I can change my direction on my flow however I choose to do so, right? So that is one of my favorite parts of this, is the ability to change the orientations. Now, system is very, very simple to find. Our one and only magic pill. Then our self-cleaning biomedia. A little bit of water. Rather have them in 5-gallon buckets. All right, that is done. Next, we'll get our dechlorinator. Chlorinator. One important thing that I urge you to do is look up your local water company and find out what's in your water. They have to run reports on these things, so it has to be available to you as a consumer. So you can look up and see what's in your water. Now, you're going to have one or two things. You'll either have chlorine or chloramine. Now, if people don't know about chlorine is actually a gas. So what you can do is, let's say you need to top off your water and your city uses chlorine. Well, what you can actually do is pour your top off water in a 5-gallon bucket, put out in the sun, uncovered. What chlorine is going to do in the sun is going to gas off. It's actually it's called gassing off. It's actually what it's called. But if you're like me and you have chloramine, I wish I had chlorine. Chlorine's easy. Chloramine requires you to do an extra step, because when you remove chloramine, it creates ammonia as a byproduct. And I keep bringing it up, guys. Zeolite. It is the way to go. I'm telling you, this is one of my favorite tools to have in my arsenal. Bag of tricks, if you will, right? So what you'll notice over the next day or so is I'll have an ammonia spike, and that ammonia spike's, it's gonna happen whether I like it or not. But now the question is, how well can you handle the ammonia spike? How well are you equipped to deal with it? Biological load of your tank, can it handle it? That's kind of the problem that you run into when you start running sumps, is tank cleaning day, right? Maintenance time. When you do a water change, how much water do you change, right? Because you don't want to get rid of all that good bacteria that you have built up. And put it to waste. This one's always been stubborn. Valve's closed. Slow shipping. Crazy. Too fast. We just want to prime the pumps up too. And have everything primed. That way, when it's go time, it's go time. This is my bag. Buy a huge roll of it. And it's filter floss. $10, guys. Like I said, do it yourself. Because all that comes in those cartridge filters for the hang on the back, that costs, you know, $12 for a 4-pack, or, you know, they know how to get you too, because if you have one of these double feds like I do, what ends up actually happening to you is, you end up somehow, some way, never fails, but you end up with an odd amount somehow, right? Pretty sure they sell an odd amount anyway. But now you gotta buy 2 packs, you know, of the 3-pack or whatever, just to make sure that you have what you need. Well, being good, take care of your animals. How how often do you clean it or change it, right? And what those are actually filled with is activated charcoal. Once again, to me, more of like not a real deal solution, because when you go to your local pond, you don't have activated charcoal. It's not a thing. Now, once she primes up good, I don't want to bring my water levels up. Just going to be draining this. And creating that vacuum. Another good lid. Back flush. You can back flush your system. Gets all that air out of there. Now, gotta have a really good flow on it. There it is. There is your backflow. Number two, prime your filter and bring our system back to life. Good old, always get hand on the back so never fails, right? Oh, that man always trusts me. There she goes. A little bit more to go. Alright guys, you'll have to excuse the mess, all the floaties in the tank. Just got her fired back up. What was that? Damn wind. Alright, so this is the tank that I like to reference as Old Dirty Bastard, but I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. Give me some suggestions, you know, throw it down in the comments. Gotta come up with something good for this tank. Like I said, Old Dirty Bastard works for me, but I want to hear some of your guys' ideas, see what's going on. So without further ado, all right. Got some snails, albino cory cats, some miscellaneous goldfish. I don't think he's a goldfish, I could be wrong, but this one, super cool. And then these guys right here are my favorite. The Dalmatian mollies. Look at them over on Plant Mountain. So you see how much stuff is floating around in there. What I'll do is I'll give y'all an update tomorrow and show you how clean this thing is, because my plants are taking off like crazy, right? And the whole thing that made me start this channel was DIYing my setups, my own setups, stuff like that. And I'll kick my pond light on for you. I gotta get some more pond lights because what I have ain't cutting it, unfortunately. So here she is, guys. I'm gonna kick my overhead lights on. But fog filters really starting to take well. This is starting to burn, but as you see up the top where the new leaves are, real nice and green, eating up all those nasty little nitrates. Got some elephant ears, you know that basil starting to take off. Look at that, guys. Once again, I can't stress to it enough. Save money, do it yourself, zeolite. Don't let them sell you the treatments. Be the treatment. And, oh, knock down you guys' there you go. And look at these guys. Happy as could be. They say that these are super aggressive and that they can bite. Look at him. Look. He don't mind. These are my buddies here. 2 yellow belly sliders. And they're pretty old. This guy doesn't like to be picked up too often, but as you can see, nice, healthy, and if you can see, shell is super healthy. You want to let him go himself. And then we got this little, this is my runt here. I don't know if you guys can see too well, but we had one soft spot right there, and you know, he's nice and healthy, nice big old boy, and we'll let him go nice and gently, let him go on his own. Let him take off. Just like fish, guys. Got the inverted tank going on. I got some lights coming. I'm gonna do some LED pond lights, some submersibles. I wonder if they're gonna bite. I don't think they ever will. They never bit me. I used to hand feed them all the time. But as you can see, this crap's falling off my trees. We got a storm coming in, and it's not the kind of floating plants we want. I'm not gonna pick you up, I promise. But you guys already ate. See? Oh, you missed it. So, as you can see, he's a good boy. Both of them, real good. Very tame, not scared. They do get spooked from time to time, but you get spooked if a face like this just popped up on you. Hell, I would. Once again, guys, firm believer. I'm gonna say it and say it again and say it again, say it again, say it again. You can't go wrong with this stuff. Guess what I got? More zeolite.
zeolite. That stuff is a game changer. So, a nice piece of driftwood down in there already. I got this piece not too long ago. Let it sit. Still hasn't waterlogged yet. It's starting to get there because it'll sink down a lot easier. It's not big enough for these guys to get onto, but it is getting there. I did temporarily, because I have a whole bunch of other driftwood that is kind of still being prepared. Like I said, do it yourself, save money. And I have a whole bunch of driftwood that's still being prepped. And part of that prep work is making sure that there's no nasty stuff on it. Making sure all the decay is going to go away. And you know, just make sure it's going to be healthy, safe. Most important part, safe. The last thing I want to do is give these little guys some type of parasite or something nasty like that, that's going to injure them. All this work I put into them, I definitely don't want to hurt them or take them out over a piece of freaking driftwood, right? But the problem with it is, once you step up and ramp up, you know, buying driftwood for aquarium tanks, something of that size right there, you can buy stuff like that all day, and it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. But when you ramp up to ponds, and you start talking stock ponds, and you know, you start getting into the hundreds and hundreds of gallons of water, that's when you need big stuff, especially for turtles. You know, kind of the ideal situation is to, you know, create something that they can have a lot of hiding room and stuff like that. So as of right now, all I have for them to bask on is a piece of tile, ceramic tile that I had left over in the garage. And what I did was I took a file and I shaved all this down so it's not sharp, it's not going to hurt them. And it's submerged halfway in there so they can climb up, but I've only seen them up there one time. I think it scares them, so, but until that driftwood is done and I can actually hardscape something in there, this is what they've been going on to. They'll get up here on this guy, and I think they know that they're not supposed to be up there, because when I come out here and find them on there, they jump down, they get in the water, and then they look back up at me. Oh, you bastard. You're not supposed to bite. You're not supposed to bite. He didn't bite hard, but here you go, Bubba. Yeah, so once you get into these bigger setups, you start to see that it gets expensive real freaking quick. So a wave maker big enough to facilitate this behemoth, something just to up the circulation, $100 freaking. I got that because I had plans for some fish in here. Like I said, kind of haven't figured that part out yet. Still work in progress, but yeah, I figured that'd give them some nice places to hide. There's a milk crate up underneath there. I did put a goldfish in here as well prior to the turtles being in here. Of course, they met their demise due to this behemoth here, but It's the coolest thing ever because I got chairs that face this thing, and watching them swim up here in the actual glass portion above the pond had to been one of the coolest things you could ever see. Now from inside the pond it looks like crap, right? But when you have your lights going, see, look, only remnants of duckweed. I put so much in here last night, there's only remnants of it. But like I said before, I got these leaves dropping all this crap in here. So it gets cleaned once a day. Come out here and get all this crap out, but I'll have to do it again. So once summer comes and the leaves stop falling, see, look at this guy. Isn't that so cool to see? Happy little guy right there. Alright guys, so change setup a little bit. I got another pump in there just to keep my bed moving, but as you can see, hang on the back focus, that floss is already working. All it's going to do is polish the water, right? So how K2 works, right? How this stuff works is you have all these little surfaces where the bacteria can grow. Got some bio balls in here. Timu got me a long time ago when it first came out, or Temu, whatever you call it. But these guys here, probably one of the most efficient ways to filter a tank, because what this does is, as they smash into each other, the bacteria that's on it, it makes the less lively and weaker bacteria fall off, and all it does is leave room for more bacteria to grow. So as this stuff hits each other, it's technically, you could call it a self-cleaning filter, right? Like I said guys, my setup is super simple, right? I have K2, very little maintenance needs to be done on this. Every once in a while, like I said, clean the sump out. But as you can see, I have my air stones back here, my zeolite in there, and that stuff is just flowing. Water is nice and oxygenated. Okay, that's all flowing back up. Return from the tank here, and then this is just to polish my water. Okay, so as you guys seen before when I hooked it up, we had floaties. Now look at her, nice and clean. See, and that's about a 15-minute difference, right? A lot less floaties. Now something I do put filter floss, that batting sometimes inside the tanks. As you can see, this one is almost ready to be replaced. Also just kind of helps my floating plants not fall down into the tube of death. And all there is some egg crate or lighting diffuser in there just to hold that filter floss in. Now this stuff, you have the abilities with that stuff to reuse it, right? And what you can do is you can take it and, you know, when you do a water change, or let's say it's maintenance day, right? You're cleaning your tank, you're checking your filters, you're seeing what everything's looking like, testing your water. What you can do is, when you drain a little bit of your water out, then you can clean that that batting down. You can even do something like this and put it, like I said, I'm running a small pond, but I have a ball is batting from the fish tank. Now you're gonna say, why would you put dirty filter media into another tank? It's kind of backwards, right? You're taking out one filter because it's one tank because it's dirty. Then you're putting it into another tank that's clean. Well, goes back to bacteria. That little tiny piece is full of bacteria that is good and it's thriving. So what you can do to, help your plant grow, make it exponentially grow more and get those roots really punched through, especially like what I got on my bog filter. Once again, homemade 5-gallon bucket, Uniseal, and some PVC, and a little bit of redneck ingenuity, if you will. It works. I mean, it rarely works. That pond's 300 something gallons plus a 50-gallon inverted, so and it's filled, and my nitrates are next to none, right? So it kind of goes back. You gotta tailor your. You have to tailor what you. You have to tailor your system to each specific application, right? So when you do that, everything flows in a system. Everything's working. You want to have a well-oiled machine, if you will. I promise you, it'll make your life really easy. It'll make having fish way more enjoyable, having aquatic life. Even if you don't have fish and turtles, let's just say you have a pond with nothing in it because you like the water, you're gonna tailor some form of filter to that, because when you do that, when you have any type of body of water, you're gonna have stuff that falls in it, leaves. No matter what, you're always gonna have a bio load. It's gonna rain. Rain's got bacteria in it. I mean, it's weird, but hey, maybe you have a sprinkler system and you're on reclaimed water. There's tons of different situations out there, so each system is gonna be tailored, but it's not hard. Very simple ideas. It's not rocket science, guys, right? You don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to do this stuff. I spent on this pond here, I think 200, or about, I would say $300 altogether. The pond was pretty cheap, maybe $250, and just a couple little startup things here. I did buy some bacteria in a bottle, like starter pond bacteria. So it's stuff like that, like I said, if I wanted to buy a canister filter for something like this, or let's say some expensive bog filter, I went to the pet store and the guy tried to sell me a empty waterfall, no pump, no nothing. It's basically a bog filter. You fill it up with media, you put a couple plants in, and then it waterfall cascades down into your tank. $150. I paid $2 for the bucket, maybe $4, and whatever the price of half a bag or a bag of lava rocks is, $5.95. And a little bit of ingenuity, and here we are, right? So right there, let's just hypothetically say off rip, I've already saved well over $100 just by doing it myself. So take it from me, guys, it's not hard. You don't have to have a background in building stuff. You just have to have not so much even the know-how, you just have to have the want to learn. If you have the drive to learn, you're fine, you're gonna learn. You got this, no problem. But if you think that you're just going to put it together and it's just going to magically work and you're not going to have to put any footwork down into it, you're wrong. Just go spend $600 on a, you know, huge canister filter that you're going to be changing. You got to buy special cartridges for, or specially, you know, specially designed sponges and stuff like that. So if you're not willing to put the footwork in the early stages, you're not going to be able to enjoy the actual slow ride, easy maintenance stuff. So then your pockets are just going to bleed. All right, guys, that's all I got today for an update. You know, if you guys have questions, you know, throw them down in the comment section below. Follow for more, and you know, if you like the video, shoot me a like. Really helps the channel out. Just trying to get some outreach out there, you know, see how many families we could touch, and see how many people we can inspire to do something cool, cheap, and something that their family can really enjoy. I'll show you guys tomorrow. Kids, they love this thing. The fish, it's nice. So but don't forget, comment on that, on those tank ideas. I need a name for that tank. You know, like I said, my wife does logos, so guys, give me a name and we'll name that tank, and I'll have her print out a little vinyl section for it, and we'll put it on there, and I think it'll be real cool. So all right, guys, take care. Once again, remember, do it yourself, save money, live great. See you.